Hey there everybody, how we all doing? Today we finally have some new content over in Apex Legends, so let's have a look at the patch notes, at what's happened. We'll show you some gameplay from solos, and a whole lot more. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Iron Crown event, where you get to spend $200 for all the possible cosmetics, but at least you get solos mode, which is actually pretty dope. So let's talk about solos, let's talk about patch updates, balance changes, which actually have come and seem pretty important, and we'll talk about the monetization and other stuff later, as well as my opinions on it. So, Iron Crown, limited time event of solos. You can play whatever legend you want, 60 players per lobby, solos. No teammates, just you. That's it, just you. Very fun. As a matter of fact, I wasn't really expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be a super duper camp fest and not all that great, but it's honestly a nice change of pace. I really like the idea of being able to go into Apex Legends and play whenever I want. Because my biggest complaint about Apex since day one has been that because it's a team-based game, because you have to play with two other players, I can't play it whenever I want. I have to get two other people on voice, and I have to play that way, because I'm not going to play with random puppies. Like, a lot of them have their mics just constantly open, and their mouth breathing into their mic, and their mom is yelling at them in Spanish, and their dog is making noise, and their mic sounds like it's inside of a Lay's chip bag, and like, whatever. It's just, it's unplayable, right? If I'm not playing with people that I know, I don't want to play. Just period end. I don't want to even pick the game up. So, seeing some actual solos support, meaning that I can just pick up the game and play whenever I want. If it's 2 in the morning and I can't sleep and I want to play a game, I can do it. You know? That's awesome. And I really hope that it does end up staying in the game. That being said, what you should expect from the metagame right now is Pathfinder and Wraith. Maybe some Octane? That's it. That is the meta. Wraith and Pathfinder, maybe some Octane, and super maybe some Lifeline, only because she can heal herself a little bit faster with her passive, and her hitbox is like the smallest in the game. Her animations are like the best in the game. So that is going to serve you very well in solos as well. You can't undermine that, but I think the vast majority of people are going to be sticking with Pathfinder for that mobility, for your ability to just camp and sit in stupid areas that no other legend can easily reach. And then Wraith for being able to press Q and become invincible. Like, invincibility on a cooldown is pretty good in a solos game mode, especially if you're in more than a 1v1 fight. So, both those legends are pretty top tier, and it's pretty impossible to pick anything better. Could I see a use for Bloodhound? No, not really. Bangalore? Not really. Caustic? Not really. I mean, maybe if you're super campy and you're playing super slow, and you're able to guess right on the final circle and set that up with gas, maybe. If you're Dr. Disrespect or Shroud or Dr. Lupo or whatever, yeah, maybe you can make Caustic work. But if you're not a god, I wouldn't subject myself to the torment of trying to play Caustic or Gibraltar or Watson in these modes. Just not a good look, not going to go very well for you. I really do think that high mobility characters, small hitbox characters, and the best headphones you can put on your ears that will give you the best ability to sound whore are the most important things for success in solos. Those are the things that I tried to use in Radical Heights back when I was like one of, if not the best players in that game. Another solo battle royale that was all movement based and hitbox based and third person abuse based and sound whoring based, all that good stuff. Like, in that game, I mean, granted, not very many people played it, but I was over 50% win rate in that game in solos. So, like, if you apply some of that same thinking in this game, just, you know, you're trying to just abuse geometry, abuse sound as much as possible. Everything else is cake. Even if your guns are inferior, even if your armor is inferior, even if, you know, whatever else the case may be, if your game sense is right, your ears work properly, your headphones work properly, you're going to make it really far into solos. Even if you don't win, you're going to get a lot of top fives. Just playing Wraith, Pathfinder, play slow, play smart, make it to the end, and then take intelligent fights, right? So you don't want to start shooting people out in the middle of nowhere just because you see them and you have a clear line of sight and they don't have a whole lot of cover between where they're at and, like, you know, wherever they need to run to. So just because you see someone out there, they're an easy target, doesn't mean you shoot them. try to wait until you're in a position where you know that you can end them very quickly, right? You know, where you can 200 to 0 them in like 1 to 2 mags. There's not any escape for them. And just do that, because anything slower than that is going to get you 3rd partied and 4th partied and 5th partied and 10th partied, because these are just a bunch of solo people waiting for bullets, waiting for sound, and then running at them. So play around that and you will make it just fine. Honestly, overall, it's fun. I don't mind the fact that there is very little legend variety. That doesn't bother me at this point in the game, but it's day 0. This has been out for less than 12 hours at this time of recording, so I don't really care that there's only a couple legends that are mostly being played. If I see someone not on those 2 legends, then I know that they're probably not the best player, and I can underestimate them, and I can, you know, use that to my advantage in how I position and when I take fights, and I can just make them my own little minions, my own little bait, while I wait for, you know, the actual sweaty tryhard wraiths and whatever else. Those are the ones I really worry about and really position around, but I can use those other players to my advantage, right? So thinking of that level is what's going to help you play super, super well in this mode. As for weapons, I think the most important weapons are going to be ones that don't require a whole lot of building to make good. Reason being is that because you're killing less players overall, and you're generally in a lot more danger of being attacked by a random enemy player, you don't have a whole lot of time to loot. There's less loot boxes for you to go through from enemies that you've killed. So expect to find final circles with, you know, blue armor and only a couple blue attachments on your guns. Maybe, you know, maybe you have a good ammo stack, maybe you don't. Maybe you have a couple grenades, maybe your heals will be okay, maybe they're not, but expect to be a little loot poor, or at least poorer on loot than you're used to in final circles of solos than you would be in trios. Just expect that. For example, in my first win in solos, which was in my first ever game, by the way, I had an R301 with like no barrel, a blue mag, and I think a 2X bruiser, and I think that was it. Maybe a stock. Maybe I didn't even have a mag, I just had a stock. I don't remember. I only had like 2 or 3 attachments and like no barrel, and it was like pretty whatever, right? And then I had a Peacekeeper, which I dropped last second for a Mastiff. So in the end of the game there, like, I didn't feel like it mattered that I didn't have that barrel attachment. I didn't really care too much about the magazine size loss from like my normal all perped out 301 or whatever. Just the fact that I had like the right gun that is inherently good even without a whole lot of attachments was the most important thing to me. So I think the best weapons you can pick would be Wingman, because all you need is a mag attachment, which is not super duper hard to find. A lot of people are going to be targeting Wingman, so the few kills you do get, you're going to find Wingman magazines. You're going to get them. People are going to find those and gravitate towards them. R301, like I just mentioned, very important pickup. Even though it did get a little bit nerfed in this update, which we'll talk about later, it's still top tier pickup. Peacekeeper, very, very underutilized in Season 2. I don't understand why nearly no one uses it. People always complain about consistency this and consistency that, but I can't say I've ever had a consistency problem with it. Every time that I've missed damage, it's very clearly been my fault. Microphone, please calm down. It's clearly been my fault for missing my shot. So that is, you know, that's just how it goes. That's fine. That's okay that, you know, you have an all or nothing gun. So anyways, back to the original point. With those guns, you only need a couple of attachments to make them like top tier, right? Wingman just needs a mag. Optic is nice. I mean, fairly important, but fairly common as well, just like the magazine. Skull Piercer, not necessary, but nice, right? If you happen to find one, cool. If you don't, no big deal. R301, you want a magazine. Optics aren't super needed. The iron sights are just good. They're just really good. They're like the best iron sights in the game, in my opinion. And I think in a lot of other people's opinions as well. And if they're not their number one, they're like the top 3 probably. So yeah, very, very good. All you really need is a mag. If you get a barrel, whew, you got a laser. As for the Peacekeeper, just need a bolt or a choke. One or the other. If you get both, hell yeah. But you only really need one of the two. So no matter what, like, pick the guns that the game gives you, right? Don't go so far out of your way trying to build the perfect gun with the perfect loadout. Like, if the game is giving you a Hemlock and heavy ammo, you know, even if your enemy's got a 301 with 20 bullets on it, but you got a Hemlock with 100, you should probably stick with the Hemlock with 100. Like, just you have to play the hand the game is giving you. But if you can, I think those are the top 3 guns right now for this mode, just because they're so easy and consistent to build. It's not to say that R99 is bad or Prowler is bad or, you know, whatever else. I just think that those 3 guns are super easy to build. Havoc also kind of sits there, but it's tough because fewer people are going to hold energy ammo. Like, on a team of 3, you're always going to have someone who's like, okay, I guess I'll drop the 301 so you can have it, and I'll take the Havoc. Oh, man. So you're going to have a lot of that, right? So there's almost always going to be someone in a team of 3 running a Havoc, and they're going to have energy ammo for you, right? So in trios, you could run through people, run a Havoc all game long and not care. In solos, I don't know how that's going to turn out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's going to be a lot of Havocs and a lot of energy ammo, and you'll be fine. But my intuition tells me that people are going to gravitate towards R301 and Wingman, and you're not going to see, and R99 as well, and you're not going to see as much energy ammo on bodies that you kill, meaning you have to spend a lot of time looting. And I just don't know if the Havoc is going to quite hold up. But, I mean, if you build one, which is literally just a magazine attachment and, like, ammo, and you're good to go. So, not the end of the world. Havoc's a good pickup, too. It's my favorite gun in the whole game. But just gotta be careful because you're just gonna have ammo problems, I think. I know I have in the game that I played so far. Moving on from that, let's move on from solos. I mean, it's a great mode. It's actually really fun. I enjoyed it a lot so far. But let's talk about some of the other stuff happening with this patch update. So there was a little town that was next to, what's it called? Thunderdome. There's a tiny little town next to Thunderdome. And I think it was the east side. I don't have the map in front of me. I think it was east. If like Thunderdome is like the northwest, right? So that would mean the town is east of it. Anyways, or is it the south? I don't know. Or is it south side? I don't remember. The map is all turned around in my head. I think it's southeast and it's west side. Whatever. Or south? I don't know. Directions are hard. I don't have the map in front of me. I should have prepared this better and I didn't. But anyways, moving on. You know, there's a tiny little town with 3 buildings next to Thunderdome. You know the one I'm talking about. It's on the big ramp side, the one where the ramp goes up to that building with like the zip line up to the birdcage, right? So that little side. That town has been demolished, thrown out, and replaced with Octane Town. So this is a big area. It's a triangle shape filled with ramps and half pipes and launch pads and a big flaming ring, and it's very Octane themed, very super cool looking. I have not been there and fought there yet. I don't know what loot's like there. I would assume it's a high tier loot zone, but I don't actually know that for sure. It's very cool looking. The trailers made it look awesome. And I would suggest you guys try to drop there and have a look for yourself to see what it's like, because I have not done that myself yet, and it's on my to-do list for sure. We have a double XP event coming, so starting on August 16th, running through the 19th, 10 a.m. PST, start and end time on both those days. Double XP for wins and top 5 placements. So that affects both your account level, which most people should already be level 100 at this point, and your battle pass as well. So that is pretty dope. It's very strange to see that on the same weekend as solos, though, because I think it's going to make solos extra campy. So I'm interested to see how solos plays on those couple of days, and if that change to the meta just becomes a permanence of solos in general, because that is what people trained on and got used to in the first, you know, burgeoning week of solos. So like that might just be how they always end up playing. So we'll see if this actually has a negative impact over time on solos, because right now it's still fairly aggressive, and I think it's better off for it. Next up, and I can't believe that this is even a patch note, there is a Bloodhound heirloom set preview. Now let's just like tab back into the game really quickly just so I can show you this. When they say this preview, here is what they really mean. Let me just reconnect to the game. I got DC'd. There is an in-game store that is exclusive to this event. So you have the in-game, you have the collection, which shows you all of the possible things that you can earn throughout this event. It's all unique to this event. And then there is the event shop. These events are exclusive to the event shop and do not appear in the event loot boxes. It's a convoluted system, but look, the bottom left corner. Here is your heirloom set preview. It is a JPEG of the hatchet that you would get if you make your way all the way through the Iron Crown event. So we'll talk a little bit more about why this upsets me and why it upsets literally the entire Apex Legends community. I want to get through some patch notes and some actually like really important stuff first, and then we'll save this for the very, very end, because I know like the rage is what you guys are here for anyways. But let's do some actually like, you know, productive stuff first, and then we'll come back to that. So things I really wanted to talk about. I mean, the patch notes, bug fixes area, that's all. You guys can read this on your own. This is nothing super, super duper important, just, very minor things. But what I really wanted to talk about here was the weapon balance changes. So RE45 magazine size has been increased across the board. Base at 16, common at 19, rare at 22, epic at 25. I think the old epic was either, it was 22, 23, something like that. So you get a few more bullets at top end. I mean, well, you get a few more bullets at every tier, but at the top end, you're up to 25, which is pretty okay. I mean, like, the RE45, I think, is a very underrated gun. Sure, it's not something that you, necessarily want to bring into endgame, but it's plenty solid. And if you get an RE45 and you get your disruptor rounds on it, I mean, the DPS on that thing is honestly pretty much alternator DPS. Might even be a little bit better after the alternator nerfs, which we'll talk about momentarily. And then I don't know about the switch speeds offhand, but I'm kind of curious if you have an RE45 with disruptors on it, if you can mag dump somebody, dump their shields at point blank, and then switch to a backup weapon to finish them off faster than you can do it with a purple stock alternator that also has disruptor. I'm kind of curious because disruptor's shield damage bonus multiplier thingy on the alternator specifically was dropped down to 1.55. So this is the second nerf that disruptor rounds have received. I'm a fan. I think that even after the first nerf, they were still a little bit too good. So hopefully this brings them in line to where the alternator with disruptor rounds is not better than the R99, but it is very, very solid, and in some cases better, but not always better, right? Because it basically was just always better at the 1.7 multiplier. So I hope that 1.55 is the number that just makes everything work. I hope that's the magic number. Moving on from that, we have the R301, which has had an increase in its horizontal and vertical recoil, as well as an increased recoil pattern randomness. So how recoil and sprays in Apex work is that there is a predefined spray pattern. So, for example, the Havoc, I know it's not the 301, but Havoc is basically straight vertical. There is nearly no horizontal deviation. It is almost completely vertical. But what you'll find is that there is a little bit of horizontal deviation on each bullet, and that is because there is some recoil pattern randomness, right? So the Havoc's recoil pattern is coded to be, as far as I know, just basically 100% vertical, but there is some randomness that makes it sway left and right in ways that you can't predict. Those are just random additions to the recoil. So there are both systems, right? If you learn a spray pattern for a gun, like in Counter-Strike spray patterns, for example, you can laser people from very, very far distances, but there is inherent randomness no matter what, so you're never going to be 100%. You're always going to get some screwball bullets here and there, no matter what you do. So on the R301, everything was nerfed. So vertical recoil is worse. Horizontal recoil is worse. Recoil pattern randomness was increased. So now it's going to be a lot, well, maybe not a lot harder to control the 301, but it will be technically more difficult. Now, I've only played one game, and I have kind of noticed already that it was a little hard to control, but I've only played a single game, and it's been like a week since I played Apex, so, not enough data. I don't have enough play time yet on this patch to really say if the changes are super noticeable or relevant, especially on a controller. I don't know how much that's going to change things on a controller where you have aim assist, and that's going to kind of mitigate a lot of those recoil things, but, whatever. That's not really my concern. I play keyboard and mouse, so I know that for me, it feels a little bit different, but not enough playtime to know just how bad it is. It certainly wasn't like, oh my god, this sucks in the first 5 seconds, so take that for what it's worth. There were some changes to Legends as well. The main thing for this that I'm seeing is that Pathfinder and low-profile Legends had a hitbox change where if you shot them in their hips, it used to do leg damage. So how Apex handles its damage is you have head damage, torso damage, leg damage. Arms are just equivalent to torso. If you shoot an arm, it does torso damage. So those are the 3 zones: head, torso, leg. Previously, if you shot the hips, that counted as leg damage. It now counts as torso damage, I guess specifically for Pathfinder and the other low-profile Legends, which would be Wraith and Lifeline. I don't think Octane counts as a low profile, so I think he's excluded. But for those 3, They should die ever so slightly more consistently now, so I think a lot of people are going to be very, very happy about that. I know I personally am. There was a bug fix when activating a healing item that would cancel the ultimate for legends that need to prime it, like Bangalore, Pathfinder, Caustic, Gibraltar, Bloodhound. I've never experienced that bug, but that was fixed, so cool, whatever. I'm just going to kind of read through this myself because I didn't realize this was even at the bottom of the list here until kind of right now, so I haven't pre-read this. Bloodhound got a slight buff on the traversal clues. So the little diamonds you see of like, oh, footsteps here, or player was bleeding there, player bandage at this point, whatever, the little crows and stuff you see as well. The range on that is up to 25 meters from, I think it was like 20, 22, 23, something like that. So a small increase, but hey, Bloodhound could use the help, so I'm okay with it. Wraith had nothing super important change, just an exploit fix. That's it, no big deal. Mirage had an exploit fix, no big deal. Octane's jump pad used to have a bug, which I experienced a lot, where it wouldn't launch players. That seems better now, so I'm cool with that. I used to hate it when I would hit a launch pad, my screen would jerk, I would hear the sound effect, and then I would just rubber band and teleport and be back on the ground and nothing happened. It was very, very frustrating, so I'm pretty happy to see that this is going to be adjusted, or rather was adjusted, and hopefully should feel a whole lot better now. So that pretty much does it for our actual patch notes. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my in-game cam here. And let's talk a little bit about, well, this. So I'm going to move over here. So basically, the idea with all of this is that, oh man. So each of these Iron Crown loot boxes, maybe I should have just stayed where I was. Maybe I was better if I stayed on the right side and I just like get a little smaller or something. I think that'll be okay. What do you think? Yeah, let's just do that. That's fine. Okay. So here's the deal. It costs you 700 Apex coins to buy one Iron Crown loot box. Now your Iron Crown loot boxes are guaranteed to never have duplicates, and there are 24 items that you can get from these boxes. So if you want to completely have every single thingy from this event, every single skin or player card or music or whatever, it's going to cost you a lot of money. It's going to cost you a lot of money. And here's the kicker on top of it. Here's an heirloom set for Bloodhound. You get this hatchet melee weapon, much like Wraith's knife. It doesn't actually mechanically do anything. It's purely a visual cosmetic. You can only buy this for Apex coins after you have earned all 24 Iron Crown unique exclusive event items. And it costs you 3,500 Apex coins. So in total, it is going to cost you what? I wrote this down. Hang on, let me alt tab and it got hidden. Hold on. It's going to cost you 20,300 Apex coins. Okay, 20,300 Apex coins to get every single Iron Crown event item. Assuming that you are buying maximum value Apex coins, which is this pack over here where you get the biggest bonus, you're going to buy 23,000 Apex coins for $200 US. So if you want to have everything from this event, $200. Now, I know that that is going to make a lot of people very, very, very angry. And I really wanted to say the word irrationally there, but I don't feel comfortable using that word. Like, I think that there is some rationale behind being upset that $200 is the price to get all the cosmetics from this, not even like full-size event. It's just like a little mini, tiny, like small bite-sized thing, right? So here's my take on it. I plan on spending exactly $0 on this event. It just, I can barely justify spending $200 to try to get, how many of these skins do I even like? Maybe that one. So it's like one. That'll be cool because no one will have it. So we'll say 2, maybe 3 if the irons are good. That could be decent. I mean, that looks cool, but like, is it $200 cool? I don't know. So like 3, these are just epics, whatever. 4, that's a hard 4. I like that one. 5, that's pretty dope. No, maybe. I'll call that 6. That's actually kind of cool. So, nah. That's funny. Okay, 7. I'll call it 7. So I like 7 out of 24. So that is less than 1/3 of the items that are in this event. And that's not even counting the event shop. These things don't even happen in loot box. You have to buy these directly with crowns, which are a 4th currency that has been added to Apex Legends, which I'm not even going to, let's just not even go there yet. Is $200 worth, you know, pulling the handle on that slot machine to get 7 out of 24 things that I actually want? I don't know. Like, I can't say that it is. Like, as a content creator for this game, as someone who makes money off this game, as, you know, as someone who just off of one video alone with 1 million+ views has made me way more money than I can ever possibly even spend in Apex Legends, you know, I kind of feel like maybe just as a thank you to the devs for making the thing that has earned me money and has provided me so much fun is okay. And I might just be a whale and do that because, you know, it just feels right to me. But for the average person, no. Like the value proposition here is non-existent. These items are going to be super duper ridiculously exclusive because no one's going to freaking get them because no one's spending money on this. No one's spending $7 plus per Apex pack. It's idiocy. It's ridiculous. No one's going to do that. But my argument, and people are going to call me an EA shill or whatever for this, and, you know, that's fine. I'm not paid by EA for any of this. I make my own money off ad rev on their games. But anyways, I think that the pricing is okay. I think that it's fine as it is. I think that in games like this, especially free-to-play games, in games that use loot boxes as their main method of earning money, you want to target the whales, right? You want to target the people like me who are willing to spend that much money on the game to get all of this ridiculous, crazy stuff, right? You want to support those things. So here's like a little just napkin math, and you can yell at me all you want for it. I'm not going to argue with it. It's just this is just a take. Call it hot if you want. I don't really care. So consider this: getting $200 for this entire event from 5,000 people is $1 million. That's $1 million for Respawn and EA. That is equally as valuable to them probably as getting $5 from 200,000 people, right? And I think it's a lot easier to convince 5,000 people to give you a good chunk of money than it is to convince 200,000 people to give you any money at all. I think it's a lot easier to do the former. I think it's easier from a marketing standpoint and just from a real life standpoint where you're going to have probably 5,000 people like me. Stop doing that, Mike. 5,000 people who are like me, who are content creators or are people who just, they have a lot of spending money or they just want to support Apex and they understand that this is a free-to-play game that I put 1,000 hours into, right? So like compared to other forms of media and entertainment out there, my entertainment per dollar value in Apex Legends is way better than it would be in the movies or in television or whatever else. So people would feel more okay in spending that money on Apex. I know personally, I feel more okay in dropping $200 to get everything because I've got a lot of hours out of this game. I've gotten a lot of value in my life out of this game. So, I mean, I might as well give the people who made it money, right? Like, why would I not do that? That seems silly. I might as well pay them for the services that they provide me. Like that's kind of how capitalism works, right? Is that I exchange money for the service, right? But because I cannot directly exchange money for the service that is the game, I can instead do it by buying cosmetics, which also makes me look cooler and better than everyone else in the game. I mean, sure, that makes me feel better as a whale that not only am I supporting the devs, but I look so much better and cooler than everyone else. So take that as a hot take if you will, but like, I mean, that's just the way that they're doing it. And that's just the way that every free-to-play game has done it forever. Look at Hearthstone. Look how much ridiculous amounts of money that they make off of Hearthstone, right? Hearthstone packs cost like $1 million each. It's pretty absurd, right? And a lot of other free-to-play games or, you know, cheap entry games that have cash shops like that are very, very similar. At least Apex shows, you know, drop rates and everything directly. Like you see right here, you open a box, you're going to get either an event epic or an event legendary plus 30 crowns, which are this event shop exclusive currency, which you use to buy these 6 exclusive items. I think these are all kind of bad except for this one. I would buy this. I think this is pretty cool with like the Knight's helmets, like nice colors. For a rare skin, that's excellent. This is like a top tier rarity skin. I would spend 30 crowns on that, right? If I didn't spend 200 bucks on the loot boxes and I just opened my 2 free ones, which would give me 30 crowns each, I would 100% just spend 30 of them on this. Yeah, totally. It's a cool skin. I would use it. And then the other 30 that I would have left, well, those are going to get converted 1-to-1 into crafting metals. So the interesting thing about this event is if you spend all the money on it, you're going to get, I didn't do this math, oh boy, I'm not about to do it in my head, but you're going to get 30 crowns times 24 loot boxes. So that's a big number that's going to get turned right into crafting metals. You're going to get probably a legendary of your choice out of that, right? So any other legendary in the game from any other character or weapon or whatever you can pick up. So like, is that a big value add? No. Is this just a BS way of making the system convoluted and hard to understand and you're going to piss literally everyone off? Yeah. Was this a bad decision on Respawn's part? From business standpoint, no. From a community, like a I don't know, what are the words I'm looking for here? From like a community appreciation standpoint, from like just a happiness standpoint, no. This system was awful. This was terrible. This was like one of the worst possible decisions they could have made for a system like this, for an event like this, for just the general opinions of the game. But from a business standpoint, from people like me, they're going to make their money either way. So, like it or not, this is just the way that it is. So, just be prepared to get 2 like terrible items from your loot boxes. Like, be prepared to get a Pathfinder music pack and I don't know, something else stupid like a Mirage banner or something. I don't know. Like, just be prepared to get 2 bricks and then you're not going to get anything, and these items are going to go away forever in 2 weeks and you're never going to have a chance to get them ever again. So like it's just abusing human psychology to get you to want to drop all that money, or maybe you just drop 10 bucks or 20 bucks and you try to, you just pull that slot handle a couple times and see, and then, that's how they get you. That's how literal slot machines and casinos work. So, hey man, all I can say is that at least they publish drop rates. That's really it. Anyways, this stuff kind of sucks. I'll still probably drop money on it anyways, but I don't recommend that any of you do. I don't think that you guys should support this. And, well, at least solos are fun, and I hope they stay. They were actually pretty good. The balance changes seem pretty good too. That'll do it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed at least a little bit of the gameplay while I was talking, and I will see you again very soon. Or on stream tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Twitch.tv/RothYeoman. Maybe I'll see you there. Y'all take care. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Stay relentless. I will see you again very soon. Take care.